So here's some great ideas of things to do with old t-shirts. You probably have been cleaning out your room, being on quarantine, had a little extra time to take care of that kind of stuff, and now you have some extra t-shirts that you don't want to throw out. Here's a couple options for you on what to do with. These are the things that you might need. So some people make them with box tops, like literally a box from a shoe box or something like that. I didn't have one, so I was going to use some old frames that I have. This one right here will do kind of the same way you would do the box top, but you can use a frame. You could also do a bulletin board. These are the items you need, is the t-shirt plus whatever you're going to use to put the t-shirt on as your frame, and then some scissors, measuring tape, or ruler, glue gun, and or staples, and a pencil so you can mark everything, and a good pair of scissors. I also added in a few extra notions just to kind of fancy up the bulletin board. All right, so when you're ready to start, the first thing you should do is kind of center your t-shirt over your shoebox or your frame, whatever you're going to use, and then you cut off the sleeves and cut through the top of the t-shirt so that you can get that off of there. And then at the shoulder seams it is. And then the next thing you would do is cut up the sides. I would really recommend that before you cut up the sides, you really make sure that your logo or design is centered on the frame the way you want it to be, because sometimes the t-shirt slips a little bit, so you can't always just go up the sides of it. So that's the first thing you do. Then you're going to take away the bottom part of the t-shirt, so you're just left with the first one. And then you need to measure so that you get your logo exactly the way you want it, leaving yourself a little bit of extra room to fit around the frame. Here's what mine looks like now that I've cut it. You can see that it's a little bit narrower right up here where the sleeve was, the sleeve hole, so it doesn't go over quite as much, but that's going to work out all right. I'm going to flip it over so that I can start gluing. So it's really important when you're gluing them to start in the center. So like I did one dot there and then pulled it really tight and did another one on this side, and then the exact same thing at the top and the bottom. And then you can see that once you do that, it's pulled the fabric taut so that it will lay flat. What you need to do next is just go around and do all the sides. Just make sure that you glue it really tightly. So now we're up to the corner on each side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you have to fold it very carefully so that it's tucked under and it gives you a nice good finish. So you kind of pull this, and then I use a lot of glue here, I'm not going to lie, and I kind of just flip it back over so you can see that there's a lot of bending or folding on the one side with the extra fabric. And you can cut this away at the end so that it lays flatter. But I use the glue, I push it down with my fingers, and you can see I get a nice edge up at the top. So you do the same thing for all four edges so that they're all finished. And then I went around and I trimmed my fabric so that it was still, you know, that it wasn't real messy because there was a lot of it. And then if you'd like to finish it off, you can tape these edges down so that there's not an unfinished edge there. And then you're ready to hang it. So you can just hang it on the back of the shoebox, or if you would like to finish it off with another piece of cardstock or cardboard and then use one of the command strips to hang it, that works too, whatever you prefer. That's a nice finish if you're giving it as a gift. You can see I kind of rushed through mine and I did not get it centered completely. So, you know, you can take a little bit more time and measure that so that it's more perfect, but there you go. That's kind of how that works. Now for the frame t-shirt, you basically do the same thing that you did for the shoebox t-shirt. You attach it to the backing of the frame like I did here. You do it the exact same way. And then I used this one you definitely want to cover so that it is finished. And the piece that I had left was just the matte frame, which was fine, but I wanted to make sure that it looked nice from behind. So I actually put a quote in mine, which is a great thing. You could sign it this way if you are giving it as a gift. You could, if it's a team t-shirt or something like that, you could put the members of your team names on it so that you would always remember them. You know, anything like that. That's the only difference in that one, is you do have to put the backing on this one, and you know, just gives you a great space to do something else. So there's the framed ones. So now we've completed 2. I've also wanted you to know the bulletin board one, you also do the same way as the others. This one you can see, I'll show you up at the top, I did not cut the neck off because I wasn't going to have enough room. I wanted the sienna to be a little bit lower, so that's why I kept it like that. I wanted to add a little bit of trim on the back of this one just to finish off the edges. So you lay the board on its back, or on its front, sorry, so that you can see the back. And then you use glue along the very edge right here of the t-shirt and glue the trim right to the edge so that it sticks out just a little. I always start at the bottom center so that I can kind of tuck under the ends like that so that you don't have any edges that show, and then I take it over a little bit at the end. But you just kind of work it all the way around all the edges on the back, starting at that center piece on the bottom and ending there. And then there you go, hanging on the wall. You can see, you won't see that on the bottom edge, and there it is. The last thing is if you want to add anything else to it, you certainly could. I decided against it. I think it looks good the way it is. I'm pretty happy with it. And then you can use tacks or whatever and hang like a picture, you know, you and your friend at school, or let's say you won an award at your event, you can put that there, anything like that to personalize it. And then you have some really great options with some t-shirts. As I said, these are great gifts. It might be something that you would want to